Hello everyone, we'll get the session underway. We've still got a few people trickling in, but that's fine. So it's a real pleasure to welcome you all to the WASTE 2025 conference here at Opal Cove Resort in beautiful Coffs Harbour. We hope the weather holds off, but we're seeing some sun this afternoon, so it should be fine. I'm Thomas Freeman, convener of the conference and Managing Director of Impact Environmental. To set the scene this year, I'd just like to tell a quick story about a Madeira vine in my backyard. This vine is a highly invasive climber that just smothers other plants. For years, I've been waging war on it. I've dug it up, I've pulled it out, I've poisoned it, I've thrown it in the bin. Nothing I did worked. It kept coming back stronger and stronger than ever. So one night, deep in a Google rabbit hole of eradication tips, I discovered something surprising. Apparently it's edible. And not just edible, its leaves were considered a decent spinach substitute. In Japan, it's actually called a land seaweed. So one morning, I hesitantly picked leaves off the vine and wilted them in the pan as I fried some eggs. And honestly, it was delicious. It was a complete paradigm shift. What I'd always seen as a pest, a nuisance, and a waste had suddenly become a resource. This little shift in perspective reminded me of the challenge we face in our industry. The technical work of recycling and transforming waste into a resource is quite valuable, but the educational and the cultural shifts needed are just as important. We're really proud of the program that we've pulled together this year. We have over 110 presenters, over 80 exhibitions, and an extensive range of supporters and sponsors. A huge thank you to everyone who has submitted abstracts. Each January, we face a rather formidable task of pulling together a mountain of abstracts into a coherent program. So thanks to Connie, to Catherine, and over 20 organisations who were on our technical review committee. This year's program tackles some of the most urgent and complex issues in our field, from the new FOGO legislation to energy from waste, the circular economy initiatives, and the vital role of education. And of course, we're all looking forward to the networking events ahead, especially the conference dinner where there's no Madeira vine on the menu, unfortunately. I'd love to get rid of it from my backyard. This year we're going back to the 1980s so we can dust off our shoulder pads in sequence, and it's going to be a fun one. I'd just like to invite now Uncle Richard Witters from the Garlambera Aboriginal Elders Group up onto the stage to conduct a Welcome to Country. Thank you, Richard.
Morning, everybody. Australia has some 250 nations of Aboriginal people, speaking some 500 dialects. The nation we're in here, or what we call the country, is Gumbaynggirr. And in Gumbaynggirr, we've got a word for hello, and that's Ginnegay. So I'd like to say, Ginnegay Gargu Jinda Najawan. I am Richard, and I am Bhagavajagan Gumbaynggirr Waja. I am Garlamburla Guyujiwa. So hello, brothers and sisters, everybody. I'm Richard, I'm from the Buggawa clan of the Gumbaynggirr Nation, and I'm here as a representative of the Coffs Harbour Aboriginal Elders Group to give you a welcome to country. But I'd like to do two things, and the first thing is to thank today's organisers for asking for a welcome to country. It's one of the most respectful ways to honour Aboriginal people and traditional custodians. And I know every year they do this, and I thank them very much. The other thing is to explain what a welcome to country is. So as I say, the Gumbaynggirr Nation, we call it country, and in this country we've got 6 clan groups. The clan group we're in here is Garlamburla. Traditionally, if you want to come into our country, say you lived up over the Grafton River, the Clarence River of Grafton, they wouldn't make you bundjalung. If you want to come into our nation, you knew that you would set up on your side of the river. There'd usually be a big tree, a camping spot. You would set up there and you would wait for one of our mob to come over the river. And eventually one of my old people, they'd get in a canoe, they'd go over the river, and they would say to you, "Who you? Who you know? Where you going? What you doing in our country? How long you going to be here?" Bit like going through customs. Seriously. And you had to answer those questions. And if they gave you permission to come into our country, it'd be like someone knocking on your door and you open up the door. If you give people to come into your country or your home, the first thing my old people would do is they'd take you to those special places. So up here behind us, the place we call Sealy Lookout, the Goombangi name is Negi Negi, place of plenty of coal. They might take you up there and they might show you the lands of the Goombangi Nation and talk about those special places like Bunyanguda, the place you fellas know as Solitary Island, where that lighthouse is. So that place was very significant to our old people because that was a place where people would go and gather and they would fish and they would actually walk out there. That's how low that water level was. So they'd walk out there and if you ever get out there, there's a massive midden there, and a midden is basically a rubbish dump. It's where people would chuck all of their waste bones and shells. The reason being is that you put everything in the one spot, the next mob will come through looking for a feed, they'll go to that midden, they'll have a look and they go, oh, them last fellas that was here had a big feed of koala bear. They're yummy too. And they would go, oh no, look, we don't want to deplete all our koala bears, so we'll find another food. That's the reason for a midden. Some old people would talk to that and they'd explain that with the thoughts and the beliefs and the hopes that once they explain the importance of that place to you and how much love we have in our heart, how much respect we have in our heart for that place, then you'll have that same respect. And we know that once you have that same love and respect in your heart, then you're going to look after it as well. That's the basis of a welcome to country. Now, with those 500 dialects, there was never a word for thank you, and there didn't need to be a word for thank you because it was respect. But you would say, while I'm in your country, I promise that I will tread softly, speak wisely, and I won't take anything that doesn't belong to me. That's the basis of a welcome to country. Same thing as knocking on someone's door. On that note, I would like to acknowledge that my old people have looked after and cared for this country for thousands of years. Pay respects to my elders past and present, extend that respect to everybody here today. And on behalf of the Coffs Harbour Aboriginal Elders Group, I'm honoured to say, Dariya Yalami, welcome.
Thank you, Richard, for that heartfelt